Hey, let's talk about this new Battlefield game that's coming out. For those who don't know, there was a trailer released a few months ago for the new Battlefield game from EA, and everyone hates it. The trailer got a lot of dislikes on it. One of the main reasons is because the trailer featured a woman with a prosthetic arm fighting on the front lines of World War II. That's not the only reason people got angry, but that's kind of the one that's getting the most attention. The game, in general, looks like a cartoonish farce. You know, like, there's a guy with a samurai sword strapped to his back. You know, it's, like, I know, in real life, Japanese officers carried samurai swords sometimes. But he's not a Japanese guy, he's a white guy. He's clearly fighting in the European theater. You know, against, like, Germans, right? But the main thing everyone's angry about is this woman, right? You know, the thing about these Battlefield games is they always operated under the pretense of being realistic, but obviously they've never been realistic. These are games where you can get shot like 3 or 4 times, and if you squat behind a car or something for like 5 seconds, your health will refill and you'll be fine. But then, you know, if you get stabbed with a knife in the foot, you die instantly. You know, but the point is, they've always operated under the pretense of being realistic. And, you know, all this crap with, like, the samurai swords and one-armed women, you know, nobody would care if this was a game like Fortnite, but this is not Fortnite, this is Battlefield. And it's not even so much that it's unrealistic, it's more like, when people play a World War II game, they want to be immersed and feel like they're fighting in World War II. So when you whitewashed history, you know, you whitewash the history that you're portraying, it harms the theme. Like, you no longer feel like you're in World War II anymore. You're in, like, this cartoonish, you know, farce of World War II. You're in a parody of World War II. It no longer matters how pretty and detailed your graphics are at that point, because you got the setting all wrong. It's like if you made a game about medieval, like, warfare in medieval Scandinavia, and you had a black Viking. Or if you made a game about the Zulu conquest, and you portrayed Shaka as a white guy. It's stupid. So, and a while after this, EA notoriously released a response to the criticism saying, "Oh, you guys are ignorant. Women fought in World War II. You need to get educated. If you don't like it, you don't buy it." Ugh. Well, yeah, it's true. Women did fight in World War II, but not on the front lines. You know, like the Russians had women fighting in the armies, but they were like snipers and stuff like that. They weren't like frontline infantrymen. And they certainly didn't have robot arms, and blue face paint, and cricket bats. Did I mention that? There's a shot in the trailer where the one-armed lady, beats a Nazi to death with a cricket bat. Yeah, you know, it's. I would go so far as to call it almost like stolen valor, because think about it. When you have. You're making a game that's based on real history, right? I mean, that's the pretense. It takes place during an actual war that really happened in real life, in which hundreds of thousands of men died. You know, the vast majority of people who died in this war, like, if you ignore civilian deaths, just battlefield deaths, the majority of people who died are men. Okay? And it's... Even today, the vast majority of people who die in war are men. So, when you whitewash the history you're portraying in order to, you know, cater to feminists or social justice warriors or whatever, that's like an insult to all those hundreds of thousands of men who sacrificed their lives, sometimes involuntarily, in fact, mostly involuntarily, to, you know, protect the free world. All these guys who died protecting their countries. You're gonna sweep all that under the rug for the sake of, you know, propping up women, fictional women who didn't actually fight and die in these wars. At least not nearly to the same extent that men did. That's an insult to veterans. And yeah, there are women fighting in the army today. Good for them, if that's what they want to do. But we're talking about a historical event in which the majority of people died are men. Okay, can we, as a society, not ignore that? For the sake of political correctness? So anyway, here's the most recent controversy surrounding the new Battlefield game. Angry Joe put up a video yesterday in which he plays the open beta, and he decided to try out the text chat thing. It turns out if you type in the phrase white men, it gets censored. It doesn't censor the phrase Asian men or brown men, but it censors white men. Why? Is this like a statement? And it's not just that. It censors other weird things that you wouldn't think would be censored. It censors the phrase DLC, but not free DLC. For some reason, it also censors the word Titanfall. That other game franchise that nobody cares about. It also censors the word Nazi, which is really ironic considering this game takes place during World War II, in which literal, actual Nazis, are featured. But it also censors the word Jews. Now, this could be some kind of weird oversight, but I think it's kind of obvious at this point that EA has an agenda. But anyway, there's a post by EA community manager Jeff Braddock, who responded to the concerns about the filter. He says they implemented a profanity filter to reduce toxicity. That's the word he used, that SJW buzzword, toxicity. He says they're working to improve the filter before official release, but he doesn't specifically address the filtering of the term white men. So that when he says they're going to improve it, that could mean literally anything. Anyway, there's aside from that, there's just Angry Joe also complains about just the general quality of the game. How it basically just feels like Battlefield 1 but reskinned with World War II graphics, which is what every Battlefield game is. Same thing with Call of Duty. It's the same game every year. They re-release the same exact game every year, with some marginal improvements. But in this case, Battlefield 5, it's actually a downgrade because he's complaining about the game being dumbed down. There's going to be far fewer weapons at launch. And instead of unlocking weapons and upgrades for your weapons as you level up by playing the game, you have to buy them with some kind of in-game currency. There's no mention of microtransactions or loot boxes, but, I would not be surprised if they snuck those in sometime after launch. It turned it into a pay-to-win experience, like they did with, Battlefront 2. Is that's what these major publishers do whenever they get caught up in some whenever they do some anti-consumer crap that pisses off a lot of people, they just wait until people find something else to complain about and then they just sneak it in anyway. That's how microtransactions made it into $60 games. Yeah, the game is just it keeps getting worse. It's getting stupider and stupider. And, every once in a while, a couple weeks ago, people are talking about the pre-order sales. How they're lagging behind whatever the newest Call of Duty game is. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or whatever. I don't care about Call of Duty. But everyone's complaining about it. Their pre-order sales for Battlefield 5 are 80% behind. And that just goes to show, people don't want this crap. They don't want this whitewashed history in their games. So it's why is EA catering to social justice warriors and feminists? These people don't play Battlefield. These are the people this is the anti-war crowd, the anti-gun crowd, the people who say video games are like male power fantasies. You know, I would argue that Battlefield and Call of Duty are not power fantasies just because, if you ever played these games, you know you die like every 10 seconds. You know, that doesn't sound like a power fantasy to me. But it's why are they bothering to cater to these people who obviously don't play their games? It makes no sense. It's like when people these are the people who are complaining about Marvel comics being like the portrayal of like female superheroes. You know how they wear like these sexualized outfits and they stand in these like weird sexy poses, and it's all just oh so misogynistic. And then they start trying to cater to them, and then now nobody buys the comics because like these feminists are complaining about comics that they don't even read. It's the same thing now. They complain about video games that they don't even play, and then for some reason these corporations decide to try to cater to them. And it's like, why? They're not buying the games. What do you care what they think? Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, support me on Patreon. I'm done with this crap.